where the black has this pawn. Now, in this position, for white to play, consider the white moves to the same b7 square. Now, if the black moves to a6, now even though the king doesn't has any legal moves to make, consider the opening of the board before playing the games. The king is not having any legal squares to make, but it has its other pieces where it can move elsewhere, anywhere it can be moved. So the other pieces of its color doesn't have any legal moves to make, or else the king also doesn't has any legal moves to make. Now the king doesn't has any legal moves, but there is a legal move for pawn. Now white can play like this, which is called a checkmate. Fine. So this is okay. But still, the scenario where the black cannot be moved. For example, I'm changing this position where there is a pawn in front and the rook is over here. In this position, if the rook moves, the rook on h moves to c2. Here the scenario, like how the analysis of score sheet or notation, it is written as rook h to c2. Because we'll be having a doubt whether the rook b moves to c2 or whether the rook on h file move to c2. Here it is represented as rook h to c2. Now, even though the black has its pawn, the pawn doesn't has any legal moves. So the king and the pawn doesn't has any legal moves in this position. The king also can't come to b8 since the rook has been defended. The king also can't come to b7 since the rook as well as the pawn on a6 is defending that particular square. This is called a stalemate.